We'll start by cutting a piece of copper tubing that's about the same length as the bending fixture. I'm using a capillary tube cutting pliers so that when I cut it, it leaves one end of the tube open so that we can fill the tube with glass bead, so that when we bend the rectangular tubing, it doesn't kink it closed. So we will cut that so that it's nice and open. And then we will fill that with glass bead. Takes a second, but it will go down in that hole. Fill it until you can see it at the top of the tube. Do it over the top of a piece of paper so that you can put it back in the container. Tap it down. That's good. And now we will cut it flush to pinch it closed. Now we can take the bending fixture and mount it in a vise. So there are different style or different size bending fixtures. Normally you get one size with your machine. So we'll put this in here. If the copper tube is not completely straight, then we will straighten the copper tube because it's rectangular. You have a wide side and a narrow side. So we'll straighten it in both directions. Just applying a little bit of pressure. And now we have a perfectly straight copper tube. Now we'll mount the bending fixture. This one's beat up, but it works. But put it in here, and I'm bending this for a 150 thousandths wide, half-inch long tip. So this point of the copper tube should be about the middle, so just approximately, and we'll take and wrap this around that pin. And that's our first form. Then we'll take, this one doesn't have a proper slot, this one does. We'll take and put it in the bending fixture with it parallel to the bending fixture. Stick it in there, and we will bend this 45-degree angle on the back because the tip will come in from the rear. Then we'll put it in here. So it's for a half-inch long tip. So this distance here needs to be about a little over a half-inch. And we will bend it around these pins here, all the way around, nice and tight. Pick it up off there, set it back down, and put it up against the 45, and bend these tubes up. Now we have somewhat of a bent coil, but now we can fine tune it by pinching it flat. You want the top and the bottom to be somewhat parallel to one another, parallel in this direction. And then we can cut this tube open and blow all of the sand out or glass bead out so that we can solder it into the inductor holder. You want about an inch or so left so that when you put it inside the inductor holder, the solder can't run up in there and close those holes.